Imagine waking up each day feeling in control of your thoughts, emotions, and actions. What if you could train your mind to be your greatest ally instead of your harshest critic? The mind is a powerful tool, but it can also be a wild horse that needs taming. The journey of learning to control your mind is like discovering a secret door to a treasure chest full of untapped potential. Let's dive in and explore how anyone can master this skill and live a life with more clarity and peace. The human mind is like a garden. If you plant seeds of positivity, you will grow a garden full of flowers. But if you let weeds like worry, fear, and doubt take over, the beauty is choked out. The first step in learning to control your mind is recognizing the power of your thoughts. Your mind is constantly talking to you. Pay attention to the thoughts that fill your head, because they shape the world you experience. If you keep telling yourself you can't do something, you won't even try. But if you tell yourself that you can, suddenly, things become possible. Thoughts are like a steering wheel. They guide the direction of your life. Think of Michael, a young man who struggled with negative self-talk. Whenever he failed at something, he would blame himself harshly, saying things like, "I'm so stupid," or "I'll never get this right." One day, a friend told him to imagine talking to himself the way he would talk to someone he loved. Would he ever tell his little sister that she was stupid for making a mistake? Of course not. From then on, whenever Michael caught himself thinking a negative thought, he would replace it with a kind and encouraging one. He slowly learned to reframe his mind, and as his thoughts became kinder, his confidence grew, and he found himself taking on challenges he used to shy away from. Another key to controlling your mind is focusing on the present moment. The mind has a habit of wandering, either replaying past regrets or worrying about future events. While it's natural to think about the past or plan for the future, getting stuck there can cause unnecessary stress. Mindfulness is the practice of bringing your attention back to the present. It's about noticing the sights, sounds, and sensations around you, without judgment. When you are mindful, you are not lost in thought. You are fully alive in the moment. Sarah, for example, used to struggle with anxiety. Her thoughts were always racing, thinking about the worst-case scenarios. She discovered mindfulness meditation, where she would spend a few minutes each day focusing on her breathing and bringing her mind back whenever it wandered. At first, it was hard. Her thoughts would drift all the time, and she felt like she wasn't doing it right. But with practice, she realized it wasn't about stopping her thoughts. It was about gently bringing her attention back whenever she noticed her mind drifting. Slowly, she found that she was less anxious and more able to handle stress because she was not letting her mind run away with worries. Learning to control your mind also involves facing fears. Fear is a powerful emotion, and it can keep you stuck in a cycle of negative thinking. But what if you decided to face your fears, even in small ways? That's what Jack did. Jack was terrified of public speaking. Just the thought of standing in front of people made his hands sweat. Instead of avoiding situations where he had to speak, Jack decided to take a small step. He started speaking up in meetings, even if it was just to say a few words. Gradually, he built up his confidence. His hands still trembled a bit when he gave his first presentation, but he managed to get through it. Each time he spoke, he gained a little more control over his fear. It didn't disappear overnight, but it lost its power over him. Self-discipline is another important aspect of controlling your mind. Your mind may sometimes try to convince you to stay in bed when you need to get up or to eat junk food when you're trying to be healthy. This is where willpower comes in. Training your mind is like training a muscle. The more you practice resisting impulses, the stronger your self-control becomes. If you constantly give in to every craving or whim, it becomes harder to control your mind. Start small. Resist one urge each day, whether it's skipping dessert or staying off your phone during work hours. These little wins add up, and soon you will notice your ability to control your impulses has increased. Tom was a man who never seemed to finish anything he started. He would start a new project full of excitement, but as soon as it got challenging, he would give up. One day, Tom decided to start small. He committed to writing one page of his book each day, no matter what. At first, it was tough, and he had days where he didn't feel like writing at all, but he stuck to his goal. Over time, he realized that he wasn't just training himself to write every day. He was training his mind to stick with something, even when it wasn't easy. That discipline spilled over into other areas of his life. and he found himself finishing projects he never thought he could. Surrounding yourself with the right people can also influence your mindset. We are social creatures, and the people we interact with have an impact on how we think and feel. If you surround yourself with people who are constantly negative, it's easy to get dragged down. But if you're around positive and supportive people, it becomes easier to keep your mind in a good place. Sometimes, changing your environment is necessary to gain control over your mind. When you surround yourself with those who inspire you, it becomes easier to adopt a more empowering mindset. Lastly, remember that controlling your mind is a lifelong journey. Even the most disciplined person has days when their thoughts get the better of them. The goal isn't to achieve perfect control, but to keep improving. Every time you catch yourself thinking a negative thought and choose to replace it with a positive one, you're winning. Each time you face a fear or resist temptation, you're strengthening your mental muscles. Life will always present challenges, but if you can control your mind, you can control how you respond to those challenges. Your thoughts shape your reality, and by learning to master your mind, you're not just changing your thoughts, you're changing your life.
Sign me up and tell me about the people that you know who are trying to feel